We have come to section 3 of Unit 6. Section 3 is on approaches to teaching citizenship education. Let's look at the objectives. There are two objectives for this session. The first one is that you should be able to state at least 4 approaches to the teaching of citizenship education. 2, you should be able to explain how community involvement approach can be used in promoting citizenship education. There are a number of ways we can teach citizenship education in our lessons. The first one has to do with exemplary approach. This approach is based on the idea that example is better than precept. Whatever you want citizens to, the behavior you want citizens to demonstrate or exhibit, you being the teacher, exhibit those characteristics first. Then the learners or students will emulate those behaviors. You want learners to come to school on time, to be the first to be in school or in class. The second approach is experience service approach. You hear about the saying that experience is the best teacher. Yes, when you allow learners to engage in activities that will promote the lives of mankind, engaging in communal labor, cleaning gutters, taking part in festivals and all that, you are inculcating in them the spirit of patriotism, the spirit of communal spirit. The next approach is academic discipline approach. When the teacher teaches facts, concepts, and generalization about social phenomena, that we are in the area of academic discipline approach. For example, we can teach about voting. We can teach about citizenship education. The teacher can teach about human rights in the classroom. When the learner is able to understand these concepts, he may apply them in his daily lives. The next approach has to do with law-related education. It deals with providing legal frameworks where learners study issues about law in school. We can talk about juvenile justice system in a country. We can talk about rule of law in a classroom. We can also talk about law enforcement in a classroom and which agencies are responsible for law enforcement. All these are law-related education. Then again, community involvement approach. In this instance, we attempt to engage the students in some activities outside the school. Community activity engagement. We can go to the community as we deem it fit on field trips, excursion, anything that we think when students or learners go to the community, they'll go and enhance their understanding of what they learn in a classroom. When you do that, it makes learning fascinating. Students don't see what they learn in school and outside there as separate. The other approach is institutional school reform approach. In this approach, students are taught how to obey authority that govern them, how to obey school rules, how to elect leaders, their own leaders, of course, and they must also be allowed to have a say in the formulation of school rules and regulations. The last approach has to do with critical thinking method or approach or strategy. Critical thinking is the ability to use information, process that information, and come to an informed conclusion. So when they say somebody is a critical citizen or critical thinker, is the one who is not made to accept issues without carefully examining them. So far, we have looked at the approaches we can adopt in teaching citizenship education. We have looked at experience service, we have looked at academic discipline, we have looked at law related. Institutional reform approach was also talked about, critical thinking as well. Hope you have enjoyed this session. Having said that, let's look at the self-assessment questions. Write down 4 approaches to the teaching of citizenship education. The approach in teaching citizenship where learners are taught to obey and respect the authority in schools is termed as. Thank you for staying with me during this session.